in many industries and countries around the world. Amidst that upheaval, competition is at a crossroads. It is extolled by some as a path, indeed the only path, to growth and prosperity. It is feared and hated by others, who see it as a destructive race to the bottom. And strategy itself has come under fire. Some argue that execution, not strategy, is the only path to competitive success. They claim that even if an organization creates a competitive advantage, it simply cannot last in today's hyper-competitive world. So why bother? These are dangerous misconceptions. Master the essential porter, and you will understand not only how companies sustain competitive advantages for decades, but also why strategy is even more important, not less so, in turbulent and uncertain times. Unfortunately, too many managers get their porter secondhand, and what they usually end up getting is both inadequate and inaccurate. I'll try to fix that by laying out porters' ideas as concisely as possible without dumbing them down. Along the way, I'll highlight the most common misconceptions about strategy and porters' work. Why me? I first encountered Michael Porter's work when I was an MBA student at Harvard in the early 1980s, and his course, Industry and Competitive Analysis, was the hottest new offering in the curriculum. This was the course that launched 1,000 strategy consultants, and I was one of them. At Bain & Company, the firm where I eventually became a partner, Porter's books didn't just sit on everyone's shelf. They were read, annotated, reread, and applied. Over the course of my career, I've worked with clients in industries ranging from biotech and big pharma to fashion apparel to heavy manufacturing, and with nonprofits in a variety of fields. No matter the industry or the company, for profit or not, I have always found Porter's work to be essential in making sense of what was going on. Why is this company, in this market space, thriving or flailing? Why is that organization stuck in a kind of satisfactory underperformance? It could do better. It should do better. What's wrong? Much of the good strategy work I've seen over 3 decades builds, consciously or not, on the foundation that Porter created. By the early 1990s, I had become the strategy editor at Harvard Business Review, HBR, where Porter is a leading author. He had often worked with editors who had academic or publishing backgrounds. My first-hand business experience added another dimension. I knew the theory, and as the HBR strategy editor, engaged with the brightest lights in the field. But I also understood the challenges managers face in the real world, and brought that perspective to our many projects. Those included some of Porter's most influential articles for HBR. 2 are especially relevant for this book. What is Strategy? 1996, one of the most cited and best-selling HBR articles of all time, and The 5 Competitive Forces That Shape Strategy, 2008, a major update of the classic that put Porter on the map. I've also assisted Porter on many articles, books, op-ed pieces, and presentations, as he tackled a wide range of current topics: competition in healthcare, environmental sustainability, the business potential of inner cities, the local versus global dynamic in competition, the success and failure of Japanese companies, the role of leadership in strategy. My collaboration with Porter continued after I left HBR to write a book of my own on the general manager's often impossible job: what management is, how it works, and why it's everyone's business. Porter then invited me to join his Harvard Business School-based Institute for Strategy and Competitiveness, ISC, as a senior associate, an affiliation that continues the working relationship begun almost 2 decades ago. Full disclosure, I am not an employee, nor do I depend on Porter for any substantial financial support. My enormous respect for his work rests purely on its merits. The Big Leap. As readers of business books well know, management gurus come and go with alarming frequency. Why then does Porter's work endure? What makes this work so different and so important? Porter's is the rare intellect that successfully bridges the divide between economic theory and business practice. In the oft-told joke, one economist says to another, "Sure, it works in reality, but will it work in theory?" Porter's work endures, and is so widely cited and used, because it works in both realms, theory and